Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Tuesday morning to you all. Hope you guys are having a great start to your day, great start to your Tuesday. Got you a morning update on what potentially could happen in the weather world today. I'm expecting some areas to see some severe weather, not quite as bad as yesterday. And by the way, yesterday it wasn't a bust like they like to talk about in the storm chasing community, but it did not iron out quite as bad as it could have. So we're all thankful for that. But today there is some severe weather expected for areas of the south central U.S., areas like Oklahoma, maybe Texas, areas of Kansas, and in a pretty large area stretching about, pretty much the base of this trough, stretching across the central part of the country, all the way up into the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes region. So that's what we're going to break down. We're going to talk about everybody else too as a whole. Stay tuned tonight. We're going to continue to give you updates on the tropics. Things are pretty much ironing out how like we think they were going to do so really over the last couple days as things have increased in confidence that we're going to have some kind of tropical activity here in the next couple days and potentially our next named storm or our first named storm of the 2022 hurricane season. So stay tuned for that. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If you guys got anything that I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. I got a little something stuck in my eye. Let me try to get it out. I think we're good now. So let's get rocking and rolling. Water vapor loop. You got some convection ongoing. That's this trough that's pretty much stretched out across the middle of the country. Anytime I say trough, I mean a cold front. This thing is progressing eastward very slowly and will eventually play a role on whatever does form down here in the tropics. So we got to watch out for that. But we're going to see some pop off and some storm activity here in the panhandle of Oklahoma today, areas of Kansas and Texas, and then stretching all the way across into the Ohio Valley, areas like Missouri also. So let's get rolling. Storm Prediction Center, a pretty large, very skinny, somewhat enhanced risk down here that stretches from areas of the panhandle of Texas, stretching all the way into not really so much the panhandle of Oklahoma, but really kind of like west central areas of Oklahoma, probably northwest of Oklahoma City, but Oklahoma City could see some severe storms today for sure. And then a slight risk extends all the way up into Michigan, including areas of Missouri, Illinois, northern Indiana, and Michigan. So active weather expected today. Then we have a general risk of some storms developing. As it's just that time of the year with daytime heating and humidity, you have pop-up showers and storms. But also watch out for areas in Florida today where you guys could see, y'all guys have a marginal risk for severe storms. So I'm expecting a little bit of severe weather down there this afternoon also. Tornado risk. Not quite as big of a deal as it was yesterday. You have a small area down here for tornado risk and an area down here for tornado risk. Basically, with this upper trough that's spinning around the base of, or along the base of this trough is moving into Canada. And you just have impulses of energy that continue to move across the base of this upper trough where you have a tornado risk down here, very small, and then you have a tornado risk very small in northern areas of Indiana. Then you got the 2% risk. That's a 5% chance in the brown area of seeing a tornado in 25 miles in any given location. Wind threat, it pretty much spans the entire slight and enhanced region. 15% risk for damaging winds of 50 knots or higher in this region. And then you got a hail threat, which will be the largest down here, where you could have individual supercells or semi-supercells that get going that could produce some large hail in areas of Texas, Oklahoma, and then an area of southeast Kansas that we need to watch out for today, including a hatch risk, which is underlying or overlaying parts of the 30% risk for a 10% risk. Also, 25 miles in a given location in this black outlined area with the slashes going in between it. Of 2-inch or diameter or larger hail in these areas. So please be careful today in this region of the country. This isn't very uncommon in this region of the country, as you typically get severe weather in the central part of the country, especially north central part of the country as you get into May and June, but we're almost in June, last day of May today. So let's focus on the south central U.S. first, because that is where our most active weather will be today. And we'll get this rolling. We're getting into the afternoon hours, probably mid-afternoon. And here he goes, bang. Storms explode right here along this dry line. And you can have storms popping off in this area of the eastern panhandle of Texas, and then they really get more widespread. Any of these could produce a tornado. In fact, if you look really hard, this little cell right here in southern areas of Kansas, that has a supercell in nature look to it where it could produce a tornado. But any of these storms right here could produce a tornado, especially right into here. Large hail will be the biggest threat, though. And these storms are not really going to move much. They're going to more so just pop up, and move a little bit, but they'll pop up and then they'll kind of diminish. But these storms right into here today could be very severe and could produce a significant severe event as far as large hail damaging winds. Large hail is going to be the biggest threat here. You could have some gorilla size hail, what they like to say in the weather community, out here really later this evening. So please be careful. Some photogenic storms could be possible also. This is, not a dense populated area out here, but you never know when your little town is going to be impacted by one of these severe storms. Storms also stretching all the way into areas of southeast Kansas. In fact, southeast Kansas might be an area where you watch out for a tornado threat too, even though the Storm Prediction Center is not really highlighting this area as a real favorable setup for tornadoes. But I can tell you those are some supercells in southeast Kansas. Watch out in northern areas, basically the entire northern half of Missouri today. These are really just going to be kind of strung out in an isolated corridor. They're not going to move much from west to east. They're going to pop up and then just kind of diminish, move a little bit, then diminish. With this very slow progressing trough cold front moving across the eastern U.S., it's just there's not much movement with these storms. It's a little different than yesterday when you had that big time upper trough with a deepening low pressure that kind of tail whipped those nasty storms through Minnesota yesterday and was moving at about 60, 70 miles per hour. Nothing like that today. But as you're getting later in the evening, another area of storms could move through areas of Missouri, out of Kansas, and these could be significant too, as more of a linear threat kind of shapes up. So watch out central Missouri a little bit later tonight, and then maybe a rocky morning tomorrow morning for areas like St. Louis. So please be careful today. Severe weather expected into the overnight hours too. Look at the north central U.S. and then parts of the Ohio Valley. Same kind of deal. You really keep your eyes down here. Nasty storms could pop up in areas. Please watch out. Tornado threat here in northern Indiana. But I really don't think these storms will really get going in northern Indiana until maybe around dinner time tonight. So around the afternoon, late afternoon hours, you might not see nothing. And then as you're getting going home, watch out in northern Indiana today. I keep saying Indiana. In northern Illinois today, you guys could be under the gun, especially as the sun's maybe starting to set later this evening for some tornadic storms. So please be careful. Not everybody will see something, but, I would not be surprised to definitely see some tornado warnings up here in northern Indiana later this evening. Not necessarily this afternoon, but later this evening. This continues. Watch out for some nasty storms getting into Michigan a little bit into the overnight hours off Lake Michigan. But the north central U.S., a much quieter day. You guys will probably deal with some ongoing showers in northern Minnesota, throughout the morning hours, maybe early afternoon hours as that upper trough slowly pulls away in that low pressure. But other than that, it kind of quiets down. It kind of cools back down. The Northeast, you guys are pretty quiet today, except maybe some passing showers and storms might move in from the northwest as they're kind of filling in that directional flow around this high pressure building over the eastern U.S. So they kind of pull up around this area, around the base of the trough. And then with the high pressure down here building, they kind of come back down. The directional flow shifts from northwest to southeast. So you guys could definitely see some showers and storms today, but I think winds will shift in southern New England maybe a little bit later this evening. But in general, you could have a flow where you have some showers and storms, maybe in areas of the interior northeast today. Not that big of a deal, really isn't. Southeast today, watch out Florida. And even watch out, this is that time of the year where you have basically that outflow boundary. Some people call it the sea breeze, which is what we call it here locally. Sea breeze pops up off the inland coastline and pops up some showers and storms. Normally they really pulse up in nature. They don't do a whole lot. They kind of pop up over one area right on top of you. You'll be outside and all of a sudden you see a dark cloud, big old downpour, and then all of a sudden it's over and the sun comes back out and it gets hotter than Hades again. So it's going to be kind of like that. But there's a little bit of a disturbance, a little bit of spin, not necessarily a spin, but a disturbance off the coast of the eastern coast of Florida. That's going to bring you guys a lot of showers and storms today, especially across the western end of Florida, where I think as you get into daytime heating, you guys could see a flow from east to west. So please be careful. You guys, this is one of those days where you're not expecting a tornado, but you can get a water spout off the coast or something like that. But definitely some damaging winds is a possibility. Hail threat probably not that high down here just with the dynamics aloft. but some pop-up showers and storms, even in the deep, deep areas of the south along the Gulf Coast, is certainly possible today. Typical summer pattern, nothing too crazy or uncommon. As far as temperatures today, a very warm day across the Delmarva area. New Jersey, you could have some widespread 90s. Long Island, some 90s. Areas, basically the southeast, mid-Atlantic, 80s and 90s, deep south 80s, and then south central U.S. 90s and 80s. And even the whole Ohio Valley into the Great Lakes region, widespread 80s, maybe a few 90-degree readings. But as you can tell, you got the trough stretching out here. You got big-time ridging all the way up in southeast Canada. And then the ridging stops and you have a cutoff in air masses. So you guys up here in Maine stay cool where you're under the influence, a little bit of troughing, a little bit of a cold front action going on here. So you stay into the 60s and 50s today in Maine. But it doesn't take quick. You don't have to go far for you to quickly to get out this boundary, and you warm up very quickly. For example, Massachusetts today, in western ends of the state could be in the 80s, but eastern ends of the state could be in the 50s and 60s. It's just kind of a weird day boundary-wise, as the positioning of the ridge and the troughing is definitely influencing temperature gradients here. But going forward out west, you guys, a little bit of shower activity. It's just going to be cooler than average, continue to be cooler than average, as basically troughing's out west, ridging is in the east, and you guys can see some showers, some higher elevation snow showers in these areas of Wyoming, Idaho, and then a little bit of system running down the Front Range could pop up some heavier rains in areas of northern Colorado and some heavier snows in the higher elevations. And then watch out also Wyoming, you guys could see some little bit of shower activity in the southeast part of the state. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. Below average temperatures for this entire area of the east. The only folks who are staying warmer, and even, you guys are warmer down here. You're not that warm compared to average. You're about average to slightly above average is the desert Southwest. And then the valleys in North Carolina. And really, it's about typical for this time of the year. It's still a warm day for areas of the Northwest. Don't get me wrong, the lower elevation, 60s and 70s for highs. You're getting into Seattle, 50s and 60s for highs, and the valley towns, 60s, maybe some 70s for high temperatures of Oregon and Washington State. But in general, nothing real below average, nothing really above average. But in this part of the country, pretty much below average temperatures. We'll talk about this. Voice is cracking again. We'll talk about this evening. The tropics, 60% chance now of development in this region. It continues to increase. Once we get to that 70% range, you'll see this orange turn to an apple, which means it goes from to an orange to basically a red. So I guarantee you that'll probably happen sometime this evening or about tomorrow morning. But very interesting setup. I think this is going to be our first tropical system to talk about. So God bless all y'all. Hope y'all guys have a great day, and I'll talk to y'all this evening.